Welcome back. Today we are going to talk about adding different types of content, including news items, events, people, etc. So to start, we're logged in. We're going to go to our add content shortcut, and we're going to choose the type of content that we'd like to add. So I'm going to add a news item. Okay, so this is where we go to create our news item. You might have a news item that's published from another source, say the Stanford Daily or something that you found on a news website. If you do, you would do mostly the same steps. You could just also link to that article. In our case, we don't have a published article. Let's say that a student received an award at commencement and there's no corresponding article in the Stanford Daily or anywhere. So we're going to create our own news item. So we'll make a title here, say, student receives commencement award. Maybe you have the student's name there. Then for the published date, that could be today that you're publishing this news, or it could be the date that the student received the award, whatever makes the most sense for your content. Here in the URL, you would copy paste, say if it was an article from the Stanford Daily, you could copy that here, and then you would provide the link text. So that might say the title of the article from the Stanford Daily or something descriptive. Next, you have the option to add an image. In our case, we do have a media item, so let's upload that. So we'll add our media item. We'll select one that I've downloaded from Sally Images, and then choose upload and continue. Scroll all the way up. We can rename this something that's more useful than just a bunch of numbers. So commencement 2023 or something. It's not a decorative image. This is going to be an image that relates to our news article. So I'm going to say this is student at Stanford 2023 commencement receiving. Scroll down, make sure that I have seen all of the different fields. So here, caption credit. So I got this image from Sally Images. And we'll scroll down more. Okay, there are no additional fields. So I'll hit save and insert. And there is my image for this news article. The byline, I'm writing this article, so I'll put my name. And then here in the body, if you're creating your own news article or news item, you would write whatever you want it to say here. So you would talk about the student, why they received an award, what the award is for, etc. If you were inserting a news item from an article from the Stanford Daily, then maybe you would put a summary or interesting points from the article here. So you can have optional text and then scroll down. And then there's a section here for categories. So this is kind of a way of tagging your news. When people go into your news item and they see, wow, this is a really interesting article, or this is a really interesting, or just something really interesting. I want to see other news items that are just like it. So then they can click on it and they'll be shown a list of other articles that were tagged with the same thing. So something along the same topic. So in this case, I'm going to tag it awards. So here is the tag that I selected, so awards. So if there were any other news items tagged with awards, then someone could click on that and see all the other news items. In this case, we don't have any. And so here's the rest of our news item. It has the title that we gave it, the date of publication, the author's byline, and then whatever text you had selected. So if that was key points from the article, if that was the entire article or just a summary that you had written yourself. And then if there was a link to, say, a Stanford Daily article, that would also appear here. And that is how you add a news item. So now let's say that you want to create an event. You go here again to add content, add event. Now, many times you will be creating your events in the Stanford University events page, just events.stanford.edu. And those can be automatically imported. We will set that up for you. But there may be events that you don't wish to have on the greater Stanford calendar. Maybe it's something for just declared students or something for just PhD students in your department. So you could go ahead and create that locally here on your site. And that will pull up this interface that has multiple tabs in it. So I'll walk you through going through each tab and all of the information that you can put. So here, let's say that we've got an open house that we're hosting. So the date we'll put that this is going to happen on January 9th, 2024. It's going to start at 10 a.m. and it's going to last for 2 hours. We could also check this box here to say that it's going to be an all-day event. For example, if there's going to be a conference with multiple days, you might have it starts on the 9th and it ends on the 10th. But in our case, we'll just do a nice simple 2-hour event. When you go down, you can select a media item. And in this case, we encourage you to add either a decorative image, maybe an image of your building or an image of where the event will be held. We don't encourage you to put a flyer here. While flyers are nice for hanging up around campus, they're rather tricky for accessibility purposes. Someone that uses a screen reading software isn't going to be able to get the same information out of an image of a flyer as they would of just an image that has regular alt text. We also don't want to have that be a way to confuse you as the person creating this event and thinking that, oh, all my information is already there in the flyer. It needs to be explicitly spelled out here and not just in an image. Let's actually just use an image that we already have. So we'll have this one. My event's going to be at the new School of Sustainability. I'll insert that. And then go down here. You can type whatever you want here. So come to our open house. And any other information. Maybe your building was remodeled. Maybe you're a new department. Whatever your situation is, you write all about it. Then you can add a location. So I can say that this is going to be in building 1, room 100. So if you'd like to add a link to a map, you can go to the Stanford map. You can actually type in specifically where you want people to go and have that linked, but we'll just do a generic campus map here, link text, the campus map, something descriptive that screen reading software can pull up. And those are all of the fields for this tab. But remember, we had a bunch of tabs up here at the top. So we'll go into the next one, which is event tags. And let's say that this is related to an event series that we have. Let's say it's a seminar. Every Monday, our department has a seminar, and we want all of those to be grouped together so that people who want to see the different titles of the seminars can just go to one place and they can see every week who's speaking, what the topic is. We could tag it with whichever is relevant. In this case, we'll just do Monday seminars to give you an idea of what it looks like. And then for this, we can tag it as an event type. This is a social event. And then we scroll down, there are no additional fields in this tab. Under supplemental info, we can add a speaker. And this is what you would do if you were going to say a professor in your department was giving a lecture, you would put their name here and then, or you could search existing speakers. I'll do guest speaker. And then you can add the speaker's email address, their phone number, or the person who's organizing. So if your department admin is the best person to contact, you would put their information here. If you have a link to your event, you can also add this here. If your event is sponsored by someone, you could definitely put that information as well. And then you can add additional fields, like if there's admission information, ticketing, and who the audience is. Is it directed towards students, staff, faculty, open to all, etc. We can go to the last tab, and after your event, if you would like to add a video or audio from your event, you can add those here, and then that will go into your page after the fact. So let's hit save. And here is our event. You can see that I've tagged it as a social event and as a Monday seminar. So let's see what happens when I click Monday seminars. So now everything that has this tag that's upcoming will be shown here. Let's go back a step and let's add an event series. So we click that from the add content menu, and then we go here, and I want to create a thesis defense series. So anytime that I have a student who's going to defend their thesis, I want to tag it with this series. That way, attendees know, hey, this is a thesis defense, or they can filter by these types of events. If I had an image, I could put it here, and I could also put a summary. So we'll say, defenses for the department, and we'll save it. Now we're going to talk about adding people to your site. In most cases, people will automatically be imported from Stanford profile pages. And so let's take a quick look at what that looks like. So this is the Stanford profile page. You can search for anyone here. So let's search for a faculty member. There we go. And this is the logged out version. So this is what we can see if we're not logged in. Any member of the general public can see this. Some faculty members have their profile set to more private, or they have some pieces set to private and some set to public. You can come up here to the sign in button, and that will sign you in. And then you can see all information that is maybe just available to Stanford members only. So you can see we've got this faculty member's bio, their academic appointments, administrative appointments, honors and awards, all sorts of information here. And then there's another tab for what they teach, who they advise, and their publications. And so all of this information, depending on how your site is set up, we can actually pull this information and have it go directly into your people pages there. Optionally, you can add content and then add a person. So I'll walk you through what that process looks like. So again, there's multiple tabs here for a variety of different information. So let's just start at the very beginning, and we'll do sample person, first name sample, last name person. In this case, I don't have an image of them, so it defaults to the Stanford Gray Tree. That way, no one is just blank on your page. They'll at a minimum have this Stanford Gray Tree. And then you select their affiliation. So I'm going to say that my person's a faculty member. And that's important because your page may be divided into multiple sections with faculty grouped together, staff grouped together, students grouped together, or those might all be on different pages. So it's important to tag people appropriately so that they end up in the correct section or on the correct page. Next, you go to the bioinformation tab, and here you can add their biography. So I'll just put in some sample text there, and then their title or position, they can be professor. Their department, we'll say they're in economics. Some people are in multiple departments, or your site may, maybe you're a center or an institute and you have faculty from all over campus who might have multiple appointments. So you can go ahead and add another item here. So I'll say that they're in economics and also biology. Their degrees in education, let's say they have a PhD from Stanford in 2000. And then their research area, you can select any of these, none of these. Anything that you select will be a tag on the person's page, and users can click on that to see other faculty members or other staff members, just any other people who are tagged with that specific research area. You can select multiple by holding down the control button and then selecting a second one. You can deselect it by doing the same thing, just control and selecting. Field of interest, they like to study new things. And their info links, maybe that's a link to their lab website. And so then if you're going to add a link here, you just need to make sure that you have descriptive text here. So you would say sample person's lab website, and you can add multiple of those. You can also add a link to their CV if they have an online CV or an external profile. So if we wanted to, we could select this from Stanford Profiles and have it linked, but that is entirely optional. Let me go back up here. We go to contact information. So we should have this person email. If they want to include their telephone, they can, their office. We'll say that they meet people at Treehouse. Their office hours perhaps are Mondays from 10 to 11 a.m. And if you want, you can add their mailing address, which is probably your department. And then up here, you have tabs for faculty info, student info, and staff info. So going back to the basic information, if you've selected that they're a faculty member, staff, student, etc., you would want to make sure that you're filling out the appropriate corresponding tab up here. So in this case, they're faculty. So faculty type. Some of your pages might be divided. If there's a lot of faculty in your unit, there might be a section for core academic faculty and another section for emeriti faculty and another section for courtesy faculty. If you don't have a lot of faculty, there might just be one section. It's really just depending on how your site is set up. We'll say this person is core academic faculty. Now, if this was a staff member instead of a student, then you could select staff type. So maybe, again, you've got different sections for your administrative office staff, your finance staff, and your student services staff. So this would just tag them so that they go to the correct location. There's also a section for student info. If this was a student, you could select if they're graduated, MA, MS, PhD, undergrad. For cohort, you can select the year, their graduation year. If it's a PhD student, you could even add in their dissertation title. And then once you're done adding all this information, you hit save. And then you'll see your sample person. So here we've got sample person as a professor in departments of economics and biology. They got their education, PhD from Stanford. And then here is the bio that we put in. And then these are some of the other things that we had checked. So over here, this is laid out so that contact information with email. If we had put in a phone number, that would have been their office information, office hours. And then we had checked their research area. So this person is researching aesthetics. So if I click that, I can see which other faculty might be interested in that. And that is how you manually add a new person if your site does not automatically import them from Stanford Profiles. Now let's say that your site pulls in people automatically from their Stanford profile, but maybe not all the content came through, or maybe they just updated their office hours. So if you want to edit that, you go into Manage Content and then Manage People. So we'll see here, this is going to show all of our people, all affiliation types, faculty, staff, student. You can, if this list is too long for you and you want to filter, you can filter just faculty and apply. So now I've got my faculty members here, and I'm going to go over here and select edit. That'll bring me into their profile on my site. And then I can go down here and edit anything. So maybe they have a new headshot that they'd like to use, or maybe they have an updated biography. You could edit that here. Or you could go in and edit their contact information. That's probably the one that's going to be used most frequently. So let's say they do want their profile on here to include their phone number. So we can add that. We can change their office hours. Maybe they also have office hours on Fridays from 1 to 3 p.m. And then we will hit save and see our changes there. Then you can go back into your sample person and you can see their telephone number is now here and their updated office hours are there. Let's say that we want to add a publication. So again, we go into add content and add publication. So it'll ask for the title of the publication, which could be the same as the title of the news article, the book chapter, the book, whatever was published. So I'm going to say a really cool thing was discovered. And then if you wish, you can add a media item. So I'll select one that's already been uploaded. Insert selected. So then here in the body, you could put a summary of the publication or key bullet points, whatever you would like. I'm going to put in some sample text there just so you can see what it looks like. Select the publication year, and then you can select the author. So I'll select add new author. So it's probably someone on my site. So I'm going to say that the sample person that I created earlier is the author. And so I have to put in a title. So they are a professor. And then I will say create author. And so professor, it will show up differently on your page. Then down here, if there's a link to the publication, you are welcome to include that here. So perhaps it was an article published in Nature. You could link to the article if it's not behind a paywall. If you are including a link, be sure to include descriptive link text. So read the full article in Nature or something like that. We don't want to just say read here or learn more. So make sure that it's descriptive. Publication type, here you should tag it as an article, a book, a chapter, other. So mine is an article of something that was published. And it was published in Nature. If there's any documents, for example, if it was an article or a book chapter, if you wanted to upload that so that it was free and publicly available, if that was allowed, then you could add that here. And then we are going to go up here and hit save. And so you can see here, this sample person is selected. So when I click on that, it brings me here. And if your site is set up in such a way to include everyone's publications, then that would show up somewhere over here. Our site is not set up that way, but it's still good to interlink things. That way, when you click on one thing, you can see who it relates to or other things that are related to it. And then just to quickly summarize, adding content is over here in this add content menu. Manage content, you can search by individual pieces of content, or you can go to the lost and found and just click manage content this way. And then that will show you all of your everything, people, event series, news item, flexible pages, everything is there. And last but not least, if you have any questions, please go to the Get Help section of your Shortcuts menu and either submit a support ticket, look at our user guide, the Wiki knowledge base. If you have questions about accessibility, alt text, anything like that, go to SOTA. And if you have questions about how things are laid out, our reference guide, just as a reminder, is this website right here. It gives you an overview of just about everything, as well as additional links to all of those places. So I hope this was helpful, and we'll see you for the next video.